welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing. Al, I'd like to welcome you to Let's Talk Racing.
I thought there for a second you'd gotten better. When you say, I'd like to welcome you. You don't...
I'm telling you
I know
this
you
time.
did.
So
you did good.
I actually did it in the proper perspective.
You're doing good. You're learning.
You're rubbing off on me.
So,
Is that a good news or bad news thing?
yeah, where do you?
Anyway.
We are here.
We are here. Bristol is over with.
Just the two of us. We don't have any special guests.
No.
We don't have any pretty ladies.
No.
We don't have any young race car drivers and young race car drivers' fathers. Just you and me.
Yep. But we do have some good drivers out there that are going to be calling it.
Good.
So that's all what we're looking for.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have David Polenz, Amber Balcaen, and Jesse Iwuji.
The kid from San Diego.
That's right.
The Navy guy.
The Navy guy.
Okay.
He finally has got himself driving in the K&N series,
Good.
which has been pretty good.
Yep.
I was thinking about getting Robbie Allison. No, Davy's son. Yeah, Robbie Allison. He went and drove JT Jackson's late model.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep. That was something Lauren called him and did something with JT, so that's how they got doing that.
Okay.
So that was good. So, what'd you think of Bristol race?
Not appreciably better and not appreciably worse than the last few years at Bristol. The Saturday Xfinity race was terrific. The last 30 laps, the last 40 laps, maybe longer than that with the two Kyles, Busch and Larson. That was great racing. I think we saw a more mature Kyle Busch in that 3, 4, 5 years ago he would have dumped Larson in a heartbeat. And he had an opportunity or two on Saturday at Bristol, but chose to drive him clean. I'm sure somewhere C.E. Falk is saying, I wish he'd wrecked him like you wrecked me at Daytona, but anyway, that's another deal. They just, you know, it's obvious that that the Gibbs cars are awfully good. Maybe the class of the field, they've had 8 races. Gibbs guys have won, I think, 4 of them. Hamlin's got 2. Busch has got 2. No, they won 5. No, Hamlin's got 1. Busch has got 2, and now Edwards has got 1.
That's 4.
So Joe Gibbs has won half of the first 8 races. Hendrick cars look pretty good. Chase Elliott looked awfully good. Career best finish. Junior, of course, came from 2 laps down to finish second. Everybody thought what a great job that was. But you know what? When you're 2 down at Bristol and you're the only guy 2 down, of course the first caution gets you the lucky dog.
Right.
Then if you're still 1 lap down, the next caution gets you the lucky dog. So it wasn't like he raced his ass off to get back to second.
Yeah, he was the only one any laps down.
Right,
so.
right. So and he got him back.
Yeah.
And Johnson had a good run, and as usual, it looks like Casey Kane is the weak link at that group. I know he's 4th among the Hendrick drivers in points.
Right.
I mean, a rookie, Elliott's even ahead of him. So it looks right now as if the Hendrick cars and the Gibbs cars are clearly the best. Surprisingly, Jack Roush's cars ran fairly well.
Yeah.
Better than they have been. I think Trevor Bayne got his first top 5 since he won Daytona several years ago. And Stenhouse had a decent run, and Biffle ran better than he finished, so there's a little bit of an uptick at Roush racing. Penske's 2 cars are still the class of the Ford field, and if you add the Wood Brothers car in that group, the Wood Brothers are part of that deal. But it was painfully evident on Sunday in the last 10 laps. If you weren't on the top side, you were done. You could not
You
go
were going
anywhere.
backwards.
Blaney had a potential top 5 finishing car, but it was his misfortune to restart on the inside, and obviously nobody's going to let you in.
Yeah.
You can wave all you want, they're not going to let you in. And he went from 5th to 11th, and really deserved better, but it's the name of the game. It's the way it goes.
As they say, that's Bristol, baby.
Oh yeah, on every restart, you had to be on the high side. I don't know, I don't remember if there was a pass made for the lead all weekend. It was on the bottom. I think both the Xfinity race, when Busch and Larson traded the lead a couple of times, and then when Eric Jones took the lead for good, all that was on the high side.
Yeah.
And I believe on Sunday's race, unless you pinch somebody up against the wall and had a pick, I think every Cup lead pass was on the outside. So, you know, and drivers are complaining about it, yada yada yada. But you know, if you're one of the guys on the outside, you love it.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can complain all you want about racing was better back then. Well, was it? I don't know if it was any better or not. It was different. So.
Well, back when you're saying back then too, you got to figure out how far back and how much difference there was in the actual speeds of the cars.
Yeah.
Because now on short tracks, the difference from front to back is small.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about.
Yeah.
I mean,
But again,
difference.
so far as the racetrack itself is concerned, I think the guys who got pinned to the inside on the last restart, they were frustrated, they were angry, they were spouting off about how bad the track was. The guys up top were just happy as they could be. So that's the way it goes.
Half empty, half full.
Yeah, and then okay, when you go back in August for the night race, the guys who got stuck on the inside might find a way to get to the outside. Then the guys on the inside will complain, or the outside will complain, because, well, we couldn't pass anybody in the last 20 laps. Well, you couldn't pass anybody all day on the inside. So
Yeah.
that's Bristol. That was Bristol in a nutshell. You got to be on the high side. You can come off the bottom really good, but you just can't stay down there long enough to clear a guy.
You almost have to do a dive bomb coming into either
Well,
1 or 3.
yeah, that happened a time or two.
Yeah.
But the guy who did the dive bomb went in so hard that when he got down to the corner, he went back up. And you really can't count that as a lead pass on the bottom, because the guy who had just taken the lead was in that groove and he had to give it up. So
Yeah, because it when he crashed out.
yeah, the other story out of Bristol, and I was there, and I just have never ever seen the place as empty as it was Sunday. Absolutely perfect weather, could not have been better.
Yes.
Nothing else on TV, no spring games, no golf, no nothing of any importance on TV. And they were probably maybe half full. Maybe half full. Now,
But as we said, there's 160,000 seats.
right,
80,000
80,000 is a pretty good crowd. Yeah, a lot of sports teams would kill for that kind of crowd. But to put it in perspective, 5 years ago that would be 160,000.
Yeah.
Or 7 years ago, they'd be sold out.
Yes.
And I don't know why. We all sat down in the media center, we walked outside, we looked up, and we thought, my God, there's seats up here that we've never seen before, because they've always been covered with people.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there right now. And TV did not, and I purposely walked outside and kind of looked at it with my own eyes, not with TV's eyes. And TV did not really, their angles of showing things showed the racetrack looking down towards turn 1 and 2. And you really couldn't tell
Yeah, didn't get much.
that there were great masses of unused seats. But
Yeah. Didn't have the ability to see up above the
no,
top of the camera.
no. And it was not a good crowd. You can't blame the weather, you can't blame anything except, I don't know what, maybe people's finances are tight still.
Hotels are still gouging.
Yeah, I shared a room with a guy, and the room was $189 the 3 nights we were there. And the morning we checked out, I asked the lady at the counter, I said, by the way, what's this room going to be for tonight? She said, well, tonight is still the big rate in case it gets rained out. They always do that.
Yeah.
But Monday night it'll be like $85.
Yeah.
So they jumped them up $100 a night. I don't know that ticket prices are that big a hassle anymore because they're coming down.
Yeah, they've been coming down.
A lot of tracks are bringing them down. I don't know that restaurants in Bristol have a special race week menu pricing deal. I think the menu you get for race week is the same as you get for all the time.
Yeah.
So if you're driving through there and you stop at Logan's or Cracker Barrel somewhere, you can pay what you always pay. But the hotel bills and the campground behind turns 3 and 4 up on that side of the racetrack, it used to be that you could walk from camper to camper to camper on top all the way one end to the other of that mile-long camping area. You could have thrown a hand grenade in there Sunday and not hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Campers were just nowhere to be found. So
that's always been something I've thought about. Well, when Crystal was here, a couple of times, Richmond, they took their grandfather's RV and go out there and it cost them $80.
mm-hmm.
You go out there and camp and have everything they needed right there.
The really cool thing about Bristol that obviously NASCAR made a big deal over the network is the TV screen.
Yeah.
The big overhead TV camera screen.
Suspended up in the air.
Oh, unbelievable. Just spectacular.
Cables must have been
You could actually, you know, if the Speedway wanted to be a real jerk about it, I mean, you could drive over to the racetrack and park somewhere and stand outside
and watch it
and see the race. You could see it on. I mean, you could be outdoors. I don't know exactly. You could find a line of sight somewhere. It may be a little bit lower than I'm thinking, but I got a feeling that you might be able to see at least part of that screen from outside. I don't know. But that was pretty cool to watch that big thing and see how they put it up. It's spectacular. And it will be a big deal when the football game is played there in September.
Now, have they already started clearing out stuff?
No, because they got a race there in the night race in August.
Okay.
What they've done, they moved the night race a week earlier into the month to give them an extra week to get ready. And I can almost assure you, they've got everything down to a science. As soon as those cars pull out that Saturday night or Sunday, whenever they leave Bristol, when that infield gets cleared, they'll start painting lines and putting down the turf field. Everything will be done. And I think the game is 3 weeks. No, the game is Richmond weekend. So the weekend after Bristol is Michigan. Then they got 3 weeks to get it done, and they will. They'll get it done.
So there'll be a new media center then by next year then.
I don't know. They may be able to put the field far enough toward the middle of the infield so that the 2 buildings at either end will stay.
Cool. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing.
Hey, Steve Polenz, how you doing?
Doing good. How you been?
Not bad at all, man.
Do a quick short racing bio about yourself so some of the people listening will get to know a little something about you, David.
Been racing for 16 years, have 78 wins and 5 championships. Won the 2011 Old Dominion Speedway Championship in the NASCAR Late Model Division and the 09 State Rookie of the Year for Virginia. We also won Legends titles, quarter midget titles, and go-kart titles along the way.
Well, very good. Too bad we couldn't pull off a win at the AIK that we went to that one year.
I know, man. You know, I think we had the
We had
we had the team all together.
yeah.
And you had the cart brakes on. Let's go figure. You know, it's just one of those deals. It seems like a typical David Polenz look sometimes, but you know, it's just sometimes the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, it is. We had a charity race that Cliff Savage had put together with Mary Maryview Hospital or
Mm-hmm.
one of those, and no, Children's Hospital. Sorry. And we got out there, and it's a 100-minute long race. And we were out there. We were probably 2 or 3 laps ahead of the field. And you have 5 drivers, and they change out and everything. And all of a sudden, the cart just died. And they didn't even have a spare cart. They were supposed to have spare carts for in case anything happened.
Oh.
So and we had probably what about?
Sounds like something you do.
But we had about what 15, 20 minutes left.
Yeah, there wasn't much left. You know, we were getting ready to switch drivers, and it was Callahan driving. I remember he was driving for a long time, and we're like, all right, when's he coming to the pits? And I knew he was coming soon. And he starts putting his hands up, and the next thing you know, the thing breaks down. And it was pretty comical after, but you know, at the time we were all like, "Come on, man, we have to win."
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. We were fussing at everybody. And by the way, they haven't gone back there and done it again because they did so bad that time.
Oh man, well that's a shame. At least they got enough people out for charity, you know, the one time there, and you know, maybe we can do something here, you know.
So tell me, you went out last weekend. You ran at Dominion. What'd you think of the track?
It was pretty incredible. I think, considering how they had to rush to get this year in with NASCAR sanctioning and whatnot, I think they really did a heck of a job with the organization. They had a little rough time with the registration and a couple of small things, you know, maybe adding some lighting on the front stretch there and scoring issues. But besides that, everything they did phenomenal. They had the scoreboard up and running. It looked beautiful. The track was perfect. It was prepped right. You know, for a majority of the night, it went very well. I really enjoyed my experience, and I'm definitely going back actually on Memorial Day weekend, May 30th. They got a K&N race, and we're going to run right along with that with the late models.
Yeah, I'm planning on trying to go up for that race, so I'll probably get to run into you again.
All right, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll go out and have some chicken somewhere.
There's plenty of that up there.
Can see through your hand.
How fast was it?
So, how fast do you think you guys were running out there?
It's got to be probably 115 if you add up the average mile an hour. It probably comes out around that. I don't know for sure, but it's definitely over 100 mile an hour. It was a lot faster than Old Dominion was. And I mean, it blows away Southern National and what do you call it, Hickory Motor Speedway. A few tracks I've ran recently with speed. The G's are pretty incredible, and it's just got so much grip. I can't wait until it wears out so you can get old race cars that really can compete. You know, we did pretty well with what we got, but I think once the track wears down, you'll really see some good racing. It already had cars running side by side for every green light flag that we actually had.
Well, that's sweet, being able to run side by side, especially going as quick as you guys sound like you were going. I mean, 115 as an average lap speed. That's hauling the mail, as they say.
Oh, for sure. We didn't. It doesn't seem like you drop a lot of speed in the corners. If you got a good motor, you really can get down a straightaway. That's the biggest thing. You got to have motor there because it's pretty long sweeping corner and straightaway, and you got to get up off. But if you don't have the handling race car, it doesn't matter what you got under the hood. It's fast. The outside was awesome after the race started. Once we got some guys up there and got the groove going, I was looking for it in practice all day, and you really couldn't do it alone. You can't really run a quick lap. But if you got a guy on the inside, you can kind of pinch him down because the corners really run out of room. So outside line was really good if you had someone with the kahunas to stay up there. If not, you kind of were stuck and had nowhere to go.
So, how do you think the fans enjoy the racing that you guys put on?
I think the racing part of it, they really did. Once they smooth out the kinks, and you know, we get some of the guys that don't have a lot of experience, give them some seat time. you know, the guys in the back of the pack, they were struggling kind of keeping the car straight and things like that. And that's going to happen, man. It's first time out for 3 years in this area. And once they get that all fixed, I think the fans will really love the racing. I know from the driver's seat when I see good racing, there was awesome racing. I think the fans enjoyed that part of it once the green flag flipped.
Cool. Now, I think you, finished up 6th?
Yeah, ended up 6th.
You don't have to sound so depressed. I know you wanted to win, but...
Well, here's the deal. The race got cut short because of curfew. Nothing they could do there. You know, start the show earlier, but I mean, God, we started at 7 o'clock and we started at 10 at Old Dominion, so that's 2 hours short of their curfew. But anyway, you know, started at 13. I messed up in qualifying pretty bad down in 1 and 2, especially on my second lap. Just overdrove it, trying to get more out of the car. And then they come over the radio and tell me my first lap time, and it was a 40. And I'm like, man, I shouldn't have drove that corner so hard. I completely messed it up. We would have picked up speed anyway, and went down and just messed it up again and ran another 40. So once the race had started, we decided just to ride. And our plan was at lap 65. I even told John Finley before the race, I said, the money lap 65, because that's when I'm going to start going, and that's when you're going to see me in the mirror. I was just busting the chops. And they cut the race from 100 laps to a 75 lapper.
Ooh.
Right around lap 60, and at that point we were sitting 9th, and we drove from 9th up into the top 5, beat and banged with Michael Harden and Adam Brenner a little bit, and ended up 6th out of the whole deal, just because it looked like they were about to take down the fence together. So, all in all, I had a really good race car. Mike Harden put a great piece for me together.
So, who actually won the race?
I don't My opinion is when a checkered flag flies, it's when the race is over. But according to NASCAR rulebook, it says if the scheduled lap was 75 and the flag came out on lap 76, the guy that led lap 75 won the race. Yeah. If you're looking at that, Tyler Hughes won the race. If you're looking at it from a competitor in a driver's seat, I look at flags, not the scoring monitor. And that to me means he lost the race to Nick Smith. So it's a catch-22. I like Tyler Hughes. They're going through a terrible time with his father right now. So sentimental-wise, it was great for Hughes to win. But I think from a competitor standpoint, with the checkered flag out, it's Nick Smith's race. So, you know, you're really catch-22.
Oh, I didn't know Tyler's dad was having any issues. But then again, I haven't talked to his dad since last year at Langley.
That's more their, you know, business to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been pretty public, so, you know, it's nothing the whole track doesn't really know about, but it is a very tough time. So we're always thinking about guys like that.
Yeah.
And we wish them the best and wish Tyler the best with everything they have going on. But they did have a great race car, and they really ran up front. And they had a winning race car. So the fastest race car, I think, on Saturday night won. So, you know, all in all, it's nothing against that.
Cool.
Did the white flag come out on 75, or did it come out on 74?
White flag came out on 75. We went around, and I mean, I was watching the flags, you know, so I know for sure. So I actually had a race years ago where they threw the checkered flag 5 laps early, and I wasn't looking at the flag. And I almost lost the race because of it. We came to the line side by side. And nowadays I look at flags all the time, and I know for sure the white flag came out on lap 75. According, you know, to the scoring and video, it came out on lap 75. It should have came out on 74, and that was the whole mistake there.
It seems like there's a lot of tracks here lately that have been...
I would think that NASCAR would rule that if the flagman made the error, that the competitors would go by what the flagman was telling them or showing them. So if they ran 1 lap too many or 1 lap more than advertised, I still think the guy who led under the checkered would be the winner. Seems that way, but I don't really, what do I know?
well, the thing I know, I mean, you listen on the scanners enough, you'll hear the NASCAR official who's up in the tower. He'll say, "Put out the white flag, put out the checkered flag."
Yeah.
So he's actually the one doing the counting up in the tower. So if he's accidentally made it an extra lap longer, it's an extra lap longer.
On another matter, was there any concern? First of all, I don't know how many lower divisions ran the other night. Did they have anything like street stocks or mini stocks or any cars that were less than, let's say, really safe? And if so, is there any concern that those lower divisions that don't have money to be as safe as late models might be in over their head at that place?
I don't think so, because there's enough low down speed by the time you get to the wall. Even 11 cars, probably the most dangerous cars on that racetrack. More people probably get hurt in those things than anything. There was a car like Rex had a flat tire, and he had so much time to slow down by the time you get to the wall because of the banking. They're not pulling enough speed. They have a lot of speed, but they're not pulling enough to really take out the fence. I think late models probably at that place are in the most danger because they're carrying so much speed. Same with modified. They're just rolling the corners so hard. But, other divisions kind of got to well up to get through there, and they don't carry as much speed down the straightaway as we do. So I don't see a safety standpoint there. Safety problem they have there. Just yet, at least.
When we're going to see you try to hop into a K&N or a truck?
Well, my goal is to be in Truck Series very soon. There's some ideas we have going around, floating some ways we can do it. Part of it is bringing sponsors such as my sponsor, Lechner Cars, on board and getting more guys like Lechner to hop on and believe in our marketing plan. We don't just do a plan on the racetrack. We have a plan off the racetrack at our appearances that bring people out, such as pit crew challenges and whatnot. And then also with our website and everything else. You always see it on Facebook. We really have something for the sponsors. So we can bring in some more sponsors, like 5 or 6 of Lechner's, we can run a truck race. And I think after that we can take off, because if we go with the right team, the right equipment, I don't want to run, if I run a truck race, I don't want to run 25th or 20th.
Yeah.
I want to come out of the box with good equipment at a place like Martinsville, Bristol, or Richmond, and go run the wheels off of the thing at a track, kind of suits my driving style already, and see what we can do. And if I go out there with great equipment and I don't really perform, that's just the way it is. But I feel like with my experience, I've learned enough in late models. There's guys like Lee Pulliam that have won 1 million races because they got good equipment, and because they're great drivers too. Won 1 million races, and a guy ain't in the Truck Series. There's a reason for that. I don't know what it is, but we're trying to find a way around it to get up there, because no matter how many wins in the late models you have, nowadays there's no guarantee you're going to make it. So my goal right now, find some sponsors, get them on a national level, put our marketing program on a national level so people can see what we're made of. Because that's really what we got going for us. And I think, we proved just this weekend. We ran a 99 chassis with a Chevy crate motor against a bunch of guys with 4 crate motors with equal carburetors and spacers. And we went out there and beat guys that had brand new chassis. So, and some very qualified guys. Very qualified drivers and very qualified track teams under them that were set up by very good people. And we went out there and we ran with them and beat them. And we were actually catching the front group. We were fast on the track at lap 75. So, we're pretty happy. We know the talent, and now it's about the future.
Yeah. Well, good. Do another quick shout out to your sponsors, and we'll go ahead and let you get off and get back to whatever you were doing before I got up with you earlier.
Well, I was just got the race car off the scales for post-race tech, and just wiping down a car now, just getting it ready for the next race. So, big, huge shout out to Lechner, Nissan, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram up there in Virginia. They really took care of us. They're they're the only reason that we're out at these racetracks right now, being able to race, because they gave us some funding and really helped us out. So if you guys need to buy a car, you know where to go.
All right.
Also, thank my guys. I got Eric Jones on the crew. I got Billy. I got Roger Brehm, his son Michael, Justin Workman, and my dad Jeff Polenz, and of course my cousin Ryan. He's always helping out around the house here. So
Tell him I said hi, by the way.
What's that?
I said, tell Ryan I said hi, by the way.
Will do. He's actually in the room here. He's I kind of had to include him. You know, it's just the way it is. But Mike Darn for his setup help and his guy Brock, it's big time help, and you know it's very awesome the help I got going right now. I'm very happy. Dave Moon for all his history of helping us too. So and he's still helping us with parts. So it's always good to have those guys around. It makes life a lot easier with the racing industry. You really respect it when you're low on funds doing stuff out of your pocket. You realize how much these guys do for you, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully I'll get to see you up there when the K&N race is running.
Thanks, guys. Sounds good. I'll see you up there. Y'all have a good rest of the show and a good rest of the year. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon, hopefully after Memorial Day, hoisting the trophy up.
There you go. All right, David. We'll talk to you later, bud.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Amber.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Sorry about that. That's what happens when you call a minute or two early. You get to listen to some of the other conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, go ahead and introduce yourself and do a quick little bio, and then we'll get into some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Amber Balcaen. I'm a Canadian race car driver. I'm now racing the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series for the first year ever on pavement with Lee Williams Performance.
That is definitely short and sweet. So where did y'all? I know you raced with Lee's. Not yesterday. This past weekend. Where did y'all race at?
We raced on Motor Mile.
The Motor Mile.
Bradford, Virginia. Yeah.
So what'd you think of that for your first track to be doing it on asphalt?
Oh, that track is awesome. I really like Motor Mile a lot. I'm super excited to hopefully be getting to race there every weekend. Even in dirt racing, I really like short tracks that had a lot of baking, and Motor Mile has that. So it's definitely the favorite pavement track that I've been to for sure.
Well, I hear you might want to go check out Dominion, because that's a brand new track, and we were just talking with David Polenz. He was running out there this past weekend, and they are flat getting around the track. He said about an average lap speed was about 115 miles an hour.
That sounds fun for sure. I mean, I used to race 410 sprint cars, so it's harder to feel that speed and that same adrenaline rush on pavement as it is when I race in a 410 sprint car. So I like fast tracks for sure.
So how's it feel not to have to turn right when you're racing?
Well, this past weekend I got a little bit sideways a couple times, so I might have been turning right when I shouldn't have been, but it's definitely different. But I really like the challenge of it, the chasing that consistency, and you just have to be so precise every single lap with your braking, your hitting your marks and everything, and I really like that challenge of it a lot.
Now, are you going to just do Motor Mile, or do y'all have some ideas about trying to run some of the other tracks?
Well, for me, all my racing is dependent on sponsorship, so the more sponsorship that comes my way, the more I'll be able to race. I'd race every single weekend if I could, but unfortunately, racing's pretty expensive to do, so as long as I can get some sponsorship on board for the rest of the season, I'll be racing as much as I can.
Well, good deal.
Amber, give us some background on, as you were growing up in Canada, what was your inspiration to become a racer as opposed to a hockey player or a golfer or anything else? What spurred you to where you are now?
Well, I'm a third-generation race car driver. My mom grew up in racing. Her dad raced and brother raced, and my dad races still to this day in a dirt league model. So I've been around racing literally since I was in my mother's belly. And it's something I fell in love with right away, and I knew that you know, I always had a huge passion for it, and it was always my life. But I knew that I wanted to do it forever, and I can't imagine living life without racing. So that's why I'm doing it.
What? Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out, other than your family, there probably weren't many female role models in Canada when you were beginning to run whatever you started, go-karts, maybe whatever. Did you look at anybody as, I want to be like her, or did you just want to be a race car driver and you didn't want to compare yourself to anybody?
Yeah, not really. I kind of just always wanted to be a race car driver. It's all I really knew. I didn't really have any role models per se growing up that were female. I mean, I looked up to my dad and, you know, World Outlaw drivers like Donnie Schatz, who is from North Dakota, which is kind of around my area where I used to race. And I didn't even really didn't really expand my horizon to the pavement world until a couple of years ago. I never thought that something like what I'm doing now would be relatively possible. So I stuck on dirt for a really long time, and as I got older, I became more of a bigger dreamer and became less realistic, I guess you could say, and decided to shoot all the way for NASCAR. So I made that decision a couple of years ago, and you know, I wish things would be come about a little bit quicker, but that's just all part of going after your dreams. And I've learned a ton about the racing industry in the last couple of years. I do all my own marketing and sponsorship and everything like that, so it's been a huge learning experience, and I'm just having the time of my life right now. I'm living my dream. I get to go after and do what I love. So as long as I can secure sponsorship for the rest of the season, it will be a good year.
When you were growing up racing at a much younger age than you are now, did you ever hear anybody say in a sort of smarmy manner, hey, she's pretty good for a girl? Did you have to live that down a little bit?
Oh, and I've gotten that my whole life. But I just see myself as a driver just like any other one of the males that I'm racing against. I mean, I go out there, put my helmet on, I'm doing the same thing as them. I want to win just as bad as them, if not more. So, I don't know, I don't really listen to those types of comments too much. I just kind of go out there and do what I do.
Well, the reason I asked that question was, oftentimes when I've interviewed young ladies who are racers, they say that they are more determined because nobody thinks they can do it. And I just wondered whether anybody had ever said anything to you growing up at a point in your life where you were at a crossroads and they said, well, you know what, you really can't do this. You're not tough enough, you're not strong enough, you're not competitive enough, or whatever. And you said, by God, I'll show you. But apparently that has not happened. You've progressed.
Oh, no, that's
it has?
Absolutely happened. Pretty much every single year. There's always, you know, a couple people that don't believe I should be there. But, I mean, I've proven myself on the dirt tracks. I've won tons of races. I've won championships. And obviously I do use the naysayers as motivation to keep on going. But I have way more positivity and way more fans than I do haters. So I just really focus on the positive and use both of them really as motivation to keep going and keep setting new goals and trying to achieve those goals.
Okay, yeah. Obviously, I say obviously, maybe not. I presume that you sort of look at Danica as being where you'd like to be in 5 or 6 or 7 years?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if I could be where Danica is, that would be a dream come true. I obviously have a lot of respect for her, for where she's gotten and what she's accomplished. She's you know, done something that no one else has, and she's the only female in the top series. So I obviously do look up to her and respect where she's gotten.
But you would just as soon be where Jimmy Johnson is.
Pardon?
But you would just as soon, if you could plan out your career goal, you would be just as happy being the next Jimmy Johnson as the next Danica Patrick.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be a championship winning driver.
Right, okay. Well, the reason I asked was, and I'm not being argumentative, I didn't want you to set your goals so low that Danica is what you're aspiring to be. You're aspiring to be Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson, those kind of guys, those championship guys. That's who you want to be. If Danica were a champion, you'd love to be her, but you want to be a champion no matter what.
Absolutely. That's how I race car driver. I want to win races and win championships.
That's good. Okay. Now, what part of Canada are you from originally?
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Oh, way out there. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The Winnipeg Jets, I think, was the hockey team out there.
Yeah,
think
that's for sure.
Didn't Gretzky? I think Gretzky played out there. No, he played in Edmonton, I think. Anyway, okay. I'm talking about stuff I don't know about.
Stick to racing, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, stick to racing, yeah. Now, where's your next race? Where will it be? Will you come to the eastern side of Virginia at all, or will you stay mostly out west?
Well, my next race is at a Motor Mile again this weekend on Saturday. And then I have a couple weeks off to kind of regroup and try and get sponsorship for the rest of the season. And then it'll probably mostly just be between Motor Mile and South Boston.
Oh, okay.
You should get Lee to let you go out to Dominion though.
All right, I'll talk to him about it.
Tell him I said that you can go.
All right, I will.
Well, I'm sure that will be just all, that's all she needs to say.
You never know.
Roger said we should go to Dominion, and Lee says, oh yeah, well, whatever Roger says.
Hey.
Oh, Roger Brehm, not Penske, not Roger Penske.
Oh.
The other Roger, okay, that'll work. That'll work.
I'll share some stories if I remember later that you'll
Well,
laugh
I'm
at.
not sure I want to hear those.
Anywho, question: do you still do any of those crazy videos that you used to do?
I don't know. Mostly for sponsorship reasons. I mean, obviously it was all good and it's all good fun. But I wouldn't want a potential sponsor getting the wrong idea of it. So I've kept it back to just strictly about my racing career now.
Yeah, I've ran into that before. Some friends of mine, we would do some crazy stuff, and a couple of years ago, I decided to pull them. I was going through some old videos. I said, "Oh man, we never put these on YouTube." Put them on YouTube, tagged him, and within 15 minutes, I was getting a call, and he was saying, "You got to take it down." My boss says we can't have nothing like that. Me doing crazy shit like that on YouTube, so I had to put them on private.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, what do you have any feasible goals to be able to get into the top 3?
I mean, everything depends on sponsorship. So, my goal for 2016 is to win as many races as I can and win a championship, and hopefully get noticed by someone like Toyota Racing Development to help kind of boost my career and put me in the fast lane to get where I need to be in one of those top 3 series. But I think what I've really learned in the last couple of years is you really just need to take things step by step and 1 year at a time. To obviously, I do want to be in the NASCAR Cup Series by 2021. But to look that far ahead, it can be very overwhelming because I have a long ways to go still. So I try to just kind of take things step by step. See each small success and try to keep putting those together to hopefully make one big success one day.
Did you try to get into the Drive for Diversity program?
I did that back in 2014, but that was my first time ever on pavement, ever in a stock car. So I haven't went back since, just because I've been kind of working on other things and talking with other teams.
There you go.
But I did do that 1 year, and it was a really cool experience.
Now, how old are you now?
I just turned 24.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
Oh, thank you.
No, you do. You got plenty of time.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I mean,
I've been told that I look like I'm 17, so I'm using that to my advantage.
there you go.
Yeah, there's a picture right there, huh?
Okay.
Anyway, Well, Amber, go ahead and do a quick shout out to your sponsors. We'll let you go ahead and get back to doing what you're doing, and then we'll go back to having some fun with our buddy Jesse here on the other line, who races out on the West Coast.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd like to say a huge thank you to Winter Circle Sports Bar and Grill out of Lakeland, Florida. They made these first two races possible for me. So if you're ever in Florida, check out Winter Circle Sports Bar and Grill. Also, Champion Spark Plug, Turkey Feet, and of course all the fans. Thanks for coming to the racetrack. Thanks for supporting me, and thanks to you guys for letting me on the show.
Alrighty then. Go ahead and good luck with your racing. Tell everybody I said hi, and we'll catch up with you later.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
How you doing tonight, Jesse?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing tonight?
We get to talk racing for an hour.
Awesome.
And then we'll do it later on afterwards too, so that makes it even more fun. Do a quick bio about yourself. Introduce yourself so people get to know something about you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first, I want to say thank you for having me on the show tonight. It's always awesome coming on this show. So just a really quick bio on me. My daytime job is being a naval officer. I'm in the U.S. Navy and I'm still active duty, and I've been in for 6 years now. Prior to that, I went to the Naval Academy for 4 years. Played college football there my whole time and ran track before I graduated and got commissioned as a surface warfare officer. And since then, I've been on 2 different deployments to the Arabian Gulf, which both together spanned out for about 15 months. Been a lot of different places, a lot of cool places. And in between my spare time, from the time I graduated from the academy through now, I had been doing different sorts of racing and stuff. So first started off doing some drag racing, moved into the road course world, and then from there, that's what led me to the stock car world, where I started racing late models last year. And now I've progressed a little bit more, and now I'm running in the NASCAR Cane and Pro Series West.
Well, that is definitely a good game plan. You moved along quickly. A lot of people are probably looking for a 5 years area for trying to just get from late models into K&Ns.
No, it definitely was quick. And I'm still learning a lot. I'm definitely not as far as some of the other drivers in the series because they've been racing for a really long time. A lot of people have been racing since almost birth. A lot of people have been racing since about 5, 6 years old. So, I still have a long way to go. So I'm definitely learning a lot as I go and just trying to make the right moves, each time I get to the track, and you just learn from, all the great competitors out there so I can continue to advance.
By the way, before I forget, thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You never thanked me for my service.
Well, you and I have both already been there, done that, okay?
Oh, okay.
I think I told you one time, I think you were busy eating shrimp or something.
Oh, okay.
Crab cakes, that's probably what it was. Anyway, or an In-N-Out burger somewhere.
Jesse, last time we talked, I think your K&N plans were maybe not as firm as they are now. I think we talked to him about a year ago, maybe?
Somewhere about there.
Yeah. Are you pretty much can try to run the full schedule, or does it depend on a lot of vagaries of the way things are going?
The goal is to run the full schedule. So that's what I planned out. At the end of last season, that was my goal, and that's what I planned out, and that's pretty much what I'm making happen. To help me do that, what I did was early last year, I started a small company called the Red List Group. And what I do through that company is I host drag racing events at a track in Bakersfield called Mimosa Raceway. And that's been going really good. And that's pretty much been what's been funding my season this year. Last year I had a lot of great help and support through Phoenix Patriot Foundation, who is a nonprofit organization out of Southern California. And through them, we did a lot of things to help wounded veterans and really highlight them and honor them. And it was a really, really nice thing that we got to do with all the different wounded veterans. So, I was really, really appreciative of that.
Cool.
Jesse, do you recall meeting, there are 2 NASCAR officials on the West Coast that you would probably do well to get to know if you don't already know them. One is a gentleman named Owen Kern. Owen Kern was NASCAR's West Coast media relations guy for years. Another guy is Ken Clapp, C-L-A-P-P. Do you have any idea if you've met either one of those gentlemen?
Yeah. So not last weekend, sorry, a few weekends ago when we raced at Kern County Raceway, I got to meet him. I got to meet Ken. I definitely remember him.
Okay.
we had some good conversations. But Ken's pretty awesome. And the first time I saw Ken was last year at the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame ceremony. I didn't get to actually meet him, but I was there at the ceremony, and that's the first time I saw him and heard of him. And then, just a few weeks ago at the Kern County race, I got to meet him in person and talk to him for a bit. So yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
I don't need to tell you how to carry on your career because you've obviously done pretty well, but he is a good man to have in your corner. If you ever have an opportunity to sit with him and talk to him, you would do well to listen to his advice, which he gives to everybody, whether they want it or not. and more often than not, he's spot on. And if he makes suggestions or asks you a few things and all, he's a good man. And I've known him for years. You would do well to have him as a friend. So keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. And because you say that, I think I'm just going to give him a call, like sometime in the next few days.
Yep.
Cool.
Now, you've been in for 6 years. How much longer are you gonna be in?
So next year, around this time frame next year, I plan on transitioning from active duty to the reserves, just so I can continue to one, grow the business that I started, and also to continue to try to progress in my racing career. So I think it'll give me a lot more time. Being active duty, it makes it really hard. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate and blessed that where I'm stationed at now, I have the time on the weekends and stuff to go race. But, as you go on, it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. So I figured next year would be a good point to transition to the reserve. So I'm still part of the Navy, and I'm still pretty much part-time doing that. But I'm still connected with the Navy, but then I can also continue to pursue all the different aspirations and stuff I'm going after right now.
Now, the 4 years you were at the academy, you played football. Y'all never lost the Army your 4 years. Am I correct in believing that?
That is 100% correct. We never lost the Army.
And they
never
haven't
lost the Air Force.
And they haven't. Navy hadn't lost the Army probably since you left.
The last time
14 years,
lost
maybe.
The Army, something like that. I think 2001. I think was the last time that Navy lost the Army.
Yeah.
The date lives on in infamy.
Well, it depends on which side you're on. I was in the Army, and I was in Vietnam, and I used to pull for Navy to beat Army in the Army-Navy game. I figured, you know what, if they're going to make me be over here in November or December, I'm going to pull for the other guys. So anyway, it was, I think when I talked to you last time, I was then, and I'm still very, very impressed by what you have done, how far you have come, going to the academy for 4 years and playing football and coming out with a career in mind of motorsports and pursuing it. That says a lot for you, and I would be delighted if I could do anything to help you other than refer you to people who actually can help you, like Kenny Clapp and Owen Stern.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's definitely been an interesting journey. I've learned a lot. It hasn't been the smoothest journey. It hasn't been the easiest at all. But yeah, I'm definitely learning. I'm just always keeping my ears open and just being open to everyone who's trying to help and help me along. Either whether it's networking with people, connecting me with certain folks, anything, or just showing me how to drive better. Every bit of help, it really counts. And I've just been very, very blessed to have a lot of great people in my life, a lot of positive people in my life, and not too many negatives, which is good.
So when is your next race? When is your next K&N race?
My next K&N race is May 7th at Tucson Speedway, but my next race is actually this weekend at Meridian Speedway in the Napa Big 5 late model series.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Now, are you ship based or are you land based right now?
So I'm land based. So my first two tours were sea tours. So my first tour was on a minesweeper, and my second one was on an amphibious ship, an LSD. And then after I did 4 years of that, now I'm on shore duty, and I'm stationed at Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California.
Oh, you're up in Laguna Seca area.
I live from door to door. I live 25 minutes from Laguna Seca.
Yeah, you're up near Pebble Beach and Laguna Seca. Yeah, okay. I think there's a I think the sports cars that come to Laguna Seca probably in a couple of weeks or so, right? Is that?
Yeah, they come. They are coming. Yeah, here in a few weeks. They'll be here. I think actually next weekend. I think.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Do you have an opportunity to be available that weekend to go watch those cars?
I won't, because I'll be racing myself that weekend. So that same weekend, I'll be flying back to Idaho, and I'll be doing some dirt track racing. I have a 500cc winged outlaw kart that I race, and I'll be doing an outdoor season, a few races in Idaho this year.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're getting all over the place. Turning left, turning right.
Yeah, well, the thing is, my big thing is, since I am a little bit behind the curve when it comes to racing, because I started so late, my big thing this year was to get as much seat time as possible. So every single weekend I could possibly find that I didn't have a K&N race or anything, I would fill it up with something else, whether it's dirt or some other type of asphalt race. But my goal was to, at a minimum, do 30 different race days on ovals this year, whether it was dirt or pavement.
I'm trying to remember, did I see a picture of you and Hannah Newhouse together at one of the racetracks?
Not sure, but we have raced together. I can't remember the last time. I think we've taken like one picture maybe before. Last year at Kern County, when she was racing at Kern County, I was just watching. That was my first time watching a K&N race, but after the race. But we're friends. Yeah, we're friends, and she raced at the Irwindale race. Actually, she did really, really good at the Irwindale race.
Yeah,
just about a month ago.
Yep. Yeah, because I remember when you said Idaho, it hit me because I knew she was from up in that area.
Yeah. I think she's racing this weekend too, if I'm not mistaken.
So y'all might be bumping into each other, so to speak, and physically.
Hopefully we can keep it clean.
It's hard to ask somebody like you what your 5-year plan is, because you're already cranked it up and shrunk it down.
I've always been, maybe it's something we've learned at the academy, or maybe something my parents have brought me up with. I've always had a plan for the majority of things I do in life, and I always look forward to the future. And I do a pretty decent job at weighing things out so that I can execute it in the best way possible.
So, all right, so when are you going to run a cup race?
That takes some experience, one, and a little bit more money. But the experience needs to come first before I can get to that point. I still have a long way to go, a lot to learn, and I want to make sure before I even ever try to dive into that world that I have the proper experience to race door to door with folks in that series. And also too, just money. I mean, it's pricey. You got to find the right sponsors and stuff. I think once I'm ready, experience-wise, to do it, that I would be able to. I think finding sponsors would be something that I think. I mean, it'd still be tough, but I think I have a little bit of an advantage because of my background and everything I've been through, and where I've been, where I've gone, what I've done. It's a different story than most, which I think makes me a little bit more marketable for certain companies, depending on which ones they are.
Cool.
From sitting where I am, 3,000 miles away, with the Chesapeake Bay just out the door here, I have not met you. I have seen your photograph, and you seem to me about as marketable as any driver I've ever seen who is trying to get to the level where he'd like to go. Chase Elliott had an open door to get where he wanted to go. Other people like that who have not had to work nearly as hard as you have if I owned a company and I was interested in making a presence in motorsports, I think you would be an ideal, I think I told you this last time we talked, I think you would make an ideal representative for any company of no matter what they produced or what they were trying to sell or whatever. I just think you're sitting on a gold mine, and I just hope you. I know seriously, and I hope you can mine. I hope you can mine that gold mine you're sitting on, because I think you would be great on a national stage. I really do.
Thank you, and thank you so much for that. And and that's what I definitely pride myself in. Staying pretty professional. Wherever I go, whatever I do, whether it's online, at the track, with friends, everywhere I go, try to stay as professional as possible. And I know I've definitely been blessed with a lot of great things and aspects. Definitely a lot of different things in my life that I think can help me a lot. And I just try to use my talents to the best of my ability. I know what I've been given, and I just make the most of it. And I really think I could represent a lot of different companies in a lot of ways. Having a great education from the Naval Academy, and being military, have been out there, out there in the Arabian Gulf and different deployments and stuff like that. Being an athlete, just having all those different attributes put together in just one. I think I could definitely be a great brand ambassador for certain companies at any level.
I think the American public fell in love with David Robinson. They obviously fell in love with Roger Staubach, Joe Bellino, names that you're familiar with, I'm sure. I just think the fact that you survived 4 years in Annapolis and have made a career of serving our country, boy, that's all the resume you need, I would think.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps a lot. It definitely helps for a great story and stuff, and it definitely molded me a lot. My years at the Naval Academy it was tough. Playing football, at the highest level of college football, which is Division 1A, doing that and running track and trying to get through 18 to 21 credit hours a semester at that school, where everyone, no matter what your major is forced to take Calculus 1, Calculus 2, Calculus 3, differential equations, electrical engineering 1, electrical engineering 2, thermodynamics. We all have to take those classes. Even if you're an English major, you still have to take those classes. So going through all that has definitely molded me and helped me a lot and shaped me into who I am today. I'm just trying to use it to the best of my ability to get where I want to get in life.
Now, when you go from active duty to reserve, would you be able to relocate if you wanted to come to the East Coast, or you wanted to relocate to the Charlotte area, or Charleston, or Norfolk? Do you have that freedom of movement as a reservist?
Yeah. So that's the whole thing with moving to reserve. It'll give me more flexibility on where I can be. You can always move to different reserve units around the country. I think with being a surface warfare officer in the Navy, it allows me it gives me a lot of flexibility to move to different places like that. So yeah, I could move to the East Coast, I could be on the West Coast, I could be Southeast, Southwest, Northeast, Northwest, wherever I want to be that has a reserve unit that would have an opening for me to be there.
But if you want to race and you can relocate, you have to be in Charlotte. I hate to say that that's the center of the world, but it's the center of the world. So you could if you came to Charlotte with your resume, and it would take you a week to meet everybody you needed to meet, I think you'd be off and running. I really do.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's definitely the plan, to eventually get over there to the East Coast to do that. I think being over here in the West Coast, what it does gives me an opportunity to really start honing the fundamentals of racing and honing my skills personally as a driver. Doing that here, so that when I make the transition over there, I'm not left in the dust.
Yeah.
Since he's on the West Coast, I think you should try to go after In-N-Out Burger.
Well, I'll have an In-N-Out Burger next week when I go to Palm Springs. I'm going to Palm Springs next week to begin a cross-country motorcycle ride back to the East Coast. So I'll have In-N-Out Burgers in Palm Springs, Phoenix, and El Paso. I'm ready.
Nice.
Gotta have them.
I need to text Colin Brown and make sure they send me mine. Anyway, Jesse, I appreciate you being able to call in with us and talking with us and sharing everything. Hopefully you've got a lot more stuff coming ahead for you in the future. Hope to see you in the top 3 series up there in P1 position by the checkered flag. So go ahead and give
That's
us
always the goal.
go ahead and get a quick shout out to your sponsors and we'll let you get rolling.
Yeah, definitely want to thank Houston Motorsports, Pearce, ATL Fuel Cells, Porterfield Brakes, DJ Safety, Rugged Radios, Sherwin-Williams, Wax for Dads, Joyous Seating, Angel 7 Industries, and also iRacing. All of them have been, great support for me this year. Helping me out, supporting me in different kind of ways. So I really definitely want to thank them, and also to my friends and my family and God always. Just because without them I wouldn't be anywhere. Both of my K&N races this year, my pit crew has been pretty much all friends who just want to come out and just help out. So it's been awesome, and it's been great to see them do what they've done. They've learned a lot, I've learned a lot, and I just want to thank them all.
I meant to ask you a question I started on a while ago when I was asking you if you were land-based. The people you work with, are they some of the guys that come out and give you a hand at the track?
No, not exactly. My friends that have been coming to the track, or the ones that have been coming and helping me, have been other friends that they race too, and so they know a little bit about stock cars and stuff like that. So they've been coming out to help me. I've had some friends from work come help me with my business with the Red List group when I host a drag racing event, but not with the NASCAR stuff.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get out of here, and I'll definitely get back up with you later, bud.
Before you go, Jesse, no. Does Roger have all your contact information, phone numbers, email address, all that? Roger, do you have all that?
I know I've got his phone numbers. I don't know if I got your email address, but you can always text that to me.
Yeah, I'll shoot it your way.
I'd like to get you on my list. I've got some ideas that I just got some people I want you to talk to on the West Coast. So
hang on, I'll tell you
Okay,
real quick.
awesome.
friends of mine who can.
Oh, nope, I do have your
Okay,
email.
good. Okay.
So I got you covered, Jesse.
Alrighty, sounds good.
All right, talk to you later.
Alright, talk to you later. Thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
Good luck.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good guy. He's gonna be good. I know he's age-wise, he's a little bit up the chart. He's probably 30 by now, 28 or so. He's been in for 6 years.
Make you 24.
Well, he got out of the academy when he was probably 20, 22. So he may be, but anyway.
Anywho, he's sellable.
Harry Gant did not run his first cup race,
So he's what, 40 something?
40. His first full season.
Yeah.
All right, let's go eat.
All right. We'll catch everybody again next week on Let's Talk Racing.
Oh, and I will not be here.
And you're not going to be here because you're heading out?
I'll be on the motorcycle ride.
You were supposed to talk about your helmet?
I'll talk about that when I come back.
Okay. You sure now?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I'll be back the night before the helmet goes on auction.
Okay. And hopefully we'll talk to you when you're on the road too.
Yep.
Catch everybody next week. See ya!